Good thing you're wearing your snow boots.
You're being awful quiet up there.
We are. So you need us to talk so you can get our voice levels.
Anytime.
Is that the hint? Is that the hint we're taking?
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I thought y'all had some stuff mapped out.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
You did, and I saw something. You had something on there.
I said we're going to talk about current events and have a nice chatter, and because I didn't know what we were talking about, but I did say about, so today's, we want it to be a Home for the Holidays special. Our guest is a Quincy native. He no longer lives in Quincy, but he loves Quincy. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Quincy and its affordability right now.
He loves Quincy more than a lot of people who actually live in Quincy seem to love Quincy.
Yeah.
So that seems to be a thing. You know, we get on there and we, post stories and people are, rah, 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 rah. It's like, geez, does anything make you happy? Or are you just constantly miserable? I think some people are just in a sustained state of misery. They don't want to be happy, and anybody else who's happy, their goal is, how can I make this person as unhappy as I am?
And normally we wouldn't know that those unhappy people exist, but social media is our life, and we try to, I think, kind of adhere to this unbiased viewpoint, but there are people that agree, don't agree. I mean, you can't please everybody all the time. So that's kind of where we are. And I think that the unhappy ones are the squeaky wheels sometimes. They just want to be heard. Yeah.
No doubt about it.
And I think maybe especially around the holidays, people get extra curmudgeon-y.
Yeah.
Is that like,
Maybe it's also because all these tax levies are happening right now too.
They do every year.
I understand. It's usually it hits you.
But people are paying more attention to it. I think because we're talking about it, and good, bad, or ugly, I think it does need to be talked about, because in the past it was one of those things where we're like, well, we just got to bend over and take it, and now we're learning there may be other avenues, and what questions do we need to ask to get people to maybe think outside the box a little bit, because we're all getting screwed 7 ways from Sunday.
Yeah.
Not just from taxes, but, everything. Inflation. And
I'm just glad you just gave a couple of statements that I've got Randy to clip off on. That's going to be great.
Oh, okay. Wow. Anyway.
I do. I've enjoyed seeing some people, though, speak out on this. We were talking earlier. Our friend Amy Smith.
So smart.
She is so smart.
Yeah.
And
I asked her if I could share her post, and she was like, does it sound stupid? And I said, quite the opposite. You are the person that we've been looking for to put it into real terms, and she did so eloquently so that it was easy to follow, real life explanation, real life questions that should be asked. And I know it's not easy for anybody to answer, but I think through her post, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay. I think her big ask right now is for people to show up, not just at the meeting, although that's really important for people to show up at our city council meeting, especially the next one, because it's the third and final reading of this fair tax, whatever it is.
The tax levy.
Yep.
Nobody showed up at county board this week for theirs.
Yeah, right. But I do think it's important for people to show up, and not just for that reason, but because we all love Quincy and we want to stay here, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, but you look at it this way, like you said, this has been something that for years, going back 20, 25 years when I worked and ran other news websites and worked at other news organizations, politicians would say, we lowered your tax rate. And they would drop the levy, they would drop the rate by 0.0001, saying we dropped lowered your taxes, but you really didn't, because they always knew the EAV was going to rise,
right? And
they always banked on that. But then they would try to just say that. But now the two, I think, I want to give credit to those who are saying that, and County Board Chairman Brett Austin's been pretty open by saying, look, your taxes are still going to go up. Sorry, but for years there was, I was sort of one of the people beating this drum to say, look, you people are not lowering taxes. As long as this EAV continues to rise at these rates, you're going to do that. And for the people who are never going to never going to sell their houses, they're getting hosed.
Yeah, it's basically, am I correct in my thinking that you're basically being forced to realize kind of fake capital gains on your property? If you're talking about, well, when you sell something or you have something that's doing really well, you kind of pay this capital gains thing, right? Yeah, now we don't, it's kind of a false
But
arbitrary
that's the
number.
thing. When you do sell your house, then yes, you'll still end up paying a capital gains hit on
Right.
top of the increased property taxes you've been paying all these years. So yeah, it is. It's, the taxation is really out of control, and I know pensions are the main driver, and that's just going to be something that's going to be very difficult to for governments to get out of and change, because those pensions are locked in, and many courts have ruled that those pensions are promises. And those people are going to get them.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's trying to take away those promises, though. They're trying to think of a solution for the future.
Yeah.
And Mike, put it eloquently on Coffee Talk, the whole 401k possible investment. I know they've been talking about that for years, but now 401ks can be more successful than ever with the right tools and education. Yeah. So I really do think it should be looked at. Also, another person brought a solution to the table. I won't say his name because I don't want people to come after him. But it was a bright idea. So Amazon is a big purchaser of, it's the big thing. Mm-hmm. That tax, from the sales goes straight to the state. And that's like that everywhere. And the solution that he was saying was, if the state would give up that and then direct it straight to the local municipalities, then we really could put a grasp on our pensions.
Right. Also, I think kind of one of the questions that Amy posed is, where is that money going? Because we have the pot tax, we got the gambling. I mean, there's so many. It seems like we have so many. Yeah, we have so many new things that we should be amassing taxes, but. Like Mike said, also, our population is not growing. Government is. This money is, we don't know where it's going. We're being told that the county taxes are not solely, but primarily for salaries and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's like, well, how do we get ahead of it then to actually realize some services that increase the quality of life in Quincy? And I'm not saying that we have a bad quality of life, but where are the things that we're all being taxed? Where are the benefits? What are we doing here? So I don't have the answer, but I do know that it's important for us to talk about it, also to bring new ideas. And then, on one hand, we're talking about, well, these taxes are raising, and although only a portion goes to the city, some of it goes to the library, which, a lot of people are passionate about, but it's that kind of want in one hand and shit in the other, So it's like, well, what do we do with that? And then the other article I just saw was about the grandstand or the
Madison Park, the bandstand they're building in Madison Park.
So, okay, well, obviously we want those things, but when we're getting taxed and we're really struggling as, a city, is that something that is a need?
But your park district your park board just passed a budget and a levy and just passed their budget, and basically not only are they paying for the bandstand, their budget has like a $1.76 million surplus.
Right.
It's like, why?
How?
And they say it's because, we have to prepare for rainy days or whatever, and it's like.
But how are they doing that? And if they do have that big of a surplus, and forecasting is a huge part of a business, which it is a business, do we need to then include that in the property tax raise? You know what I mean? I don't know where that, but it's like, if you have money to throw out there for this and we're all struggling to buy eggs, is this something that we need to do right now? Or can you possibly give kind of a good faith, hey, we're going to put a pause on this for now? And I don't know if that's an option, but those are just things that I'm reading into.
Well, I mean, they'll redo bandstands every year. They'll do different projects every year. And, when I was on the park board, it was kind of like, well, do we really need to do that this year? But, of course, I was on it right before COVID hit, so it was a different world.
Right.
But, I think it's like, what do people want? And the park district's been pretty adamant that they're not really interested in doing much with the riverfront. That's sort of the city's thing and kind of Brett's thing, and now it seems like that's not moving nearly at all, because I just don't think there's the appetite, political will, or funding mechanisms to do that, whereas now the Sports Commission has got the sports complex ball kind of rolling. It sounds like we might, next Monday at that meeting, they're going to talk about an RFP for some land and a study. So, and that is something that they'll probably end up funding through the food and beverage tax. They'll probably end up funding through the hotel motel tax. And then what happens to the Oakley Lindsay Center if they're getting less hotel motel tax? So,
but through the sports complex, I would hope that there are some studies being done on the revenue that it can bring
That's
in
what-
as well, right?
and they're doing- that's what
so
the-
that's kind
There's
of
a
the
difference
difference.
between
There's a
some of
difference
these-
there. But then also another thing I saw was, non-for-profits not paying any property taxes, yet using our roads, yet using all of our infrastructure. I'm not saying that if you make a certain amount of dollars above, a threshold that you should pay, but maybe that's something else to look at because, people coming in town for our hospitals and stuff, not necessarily putting, heads in beds and butts in seats, but they are using our infrastructure. So when the hospital is profiting, which they are a non-for-profit, right?
Yes.
They're profiting, and we're seeing really not a whole lot of that come back other than in the form of salaries for people who live here. But it just seems like there's opportunity in a whole lot of different buckets, and I don't know the legalities, but these are conversations that need to be had because just like the guy, our guest, he wants to come back to Quincy. I'm sure there are reasons that he's not, but we want people to stay here. And how do we accomplish that? One of the ways is to make it possible. And right now it just seems like we're headed down this path of impossibility of being able to stay in a place like Quincy and being able to afford it and have a quality of life.
And for most people, I think this isn't so much, looking at, I don't know, it's coming down to this is our home. You want to stay here for family, then what, and friends, what is to what cost?
Yeah.
It's getting, that's where I think the emotion goes into
Yeah.
play too. And people do get really, like you said, angry, not satisfied. It's because we are kind of being put in the rock and a hard place.
Between a rock and a hard place. And I don't think that we're not special, as far as Quincy goes in taxation and stuff, but it just seems like Illinois is just, bend over and take it. Because we just don't, and I just can't figure out where it's all going.
Yeah.
And I think that's not a, and unfortunately when you start asking these questions, especially the hard ones, and it's making people's jobs harder, then it's like, oh, well, how dare you you get that feeling of how dare you ask these questions, or you're against us, or then that's not the case at all. No. Especially with leadership, both the city and the county, we appreciate everything that leadership does. What we're asking is for kind of out-of-the-box solutions. And we need people who are willing to, open the minds and kind of realize that we're all just wanting to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember a time that my husband, Mike Scholl, did get to speak during a meeting. It was actually a park district meeting. And when he was bringing these questions to the table, he was told he just doesn't give a shit about Quincy. Yeah. Well,
quite the contrary, yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the park district's worst employee. But guess what? I'm not.
You're not. We all know that. You're like the best.
Yeah, yep. Thank you very much. But
I mean, I don't know who. I don't know.
You want to know who the worst employee is, though?
Yeah,
here?
I do.
It's.
I can't believe you just said the worst employee is.
I'm just trying to decide who's not the worst employee at this point in time.
Well, we just told you who it was.
Okay.
Also.
You guys are making me work over here.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Randcam's
Randcam's over there like marking down the time when he has to bleep it out because we can't let this news go.
No.
Yeah.
No. So, I'm not an employee, so I don't qualify.
There you go. Anyway, really excited to speak to our guests. There are people who have never left Quincy. There are people who've left and come back. There are people who've left who want to come back. And I think that it's all for kind of the same reason you mentioned, friends and family. We do have our own villages here. We have our support systems here. We have a very strong love for Quincy, the places that we have here, the people that live here. We are the gem city. We are the gem. We are. There are so many amazing things. So even when we're complaining about taxes, all we want to do is live here and live happy and, have the best time that we can on this short time in this beautiful area.
Well, this guy knows how to have a good time, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to chatting with him.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back.
What have you been missing on Muddy River Gems? You won't believe your eyes. My crew and I have been bringing you stories for more than 20 years on PBS and now Muddy River News. And we're just getting started.
Mr. Brian Bordenkircher, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we were just chatting about how you know about Club Muddy, Muddy River News. Mm-hmm. You are a Quincy native who migrated a little bit. Where are you living now?
I live in Belleville,
Okay.
Illinois.
All right, which is near St. Louis, hop, skip, and a jump. You graduated here from Quincy Senior High.
1997
Okay.
with your sister.
With my sister, Sam. Now,
The 7 degrees.
7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, I'm telling you. So I knew Brian way back when I worked at the Abbey. He dated one of the gals there. We had lots of fun together. We were frequenters of the same bar, which is O'Griff's, the Abbey. I mean, it is, when you live in Quincy and you have you have commonalities, you run into the people quite often.
Well, there's lots of bars that you can frequent in Quincy.
Yes. Yes.
I've heard we're known for that, you know. I think I met you through the Applebee's crew, but you were just leaving as I was arriving.
Ooh, I forgot about Applebee's.
I was getting ready to deploy overseas, and you had just started as I was leaving.
And was that
Applebee's.
your first deployment?
That was my first deployment.
What year was that?
2006.
Okay. Yeah, that rings a bell for
So
me.
did you go directly into the service? Now you were in the Army?
I was in the Army Reserve. I joined in 2002, just after 9/11.
Okay.
I didn't deploy until 2006. Spent 18 months overseas in Iraq. Came back, and then I went back in 2009, 2010 for about 15 months.
Okay.
Was 9/11 the reason why you signed up?
Well, 9/11, and I wasn't doing necessarily everything I should have been doing
Yeah.
with my life.
Yeah.
So it was get your
Shit
SHIT.
Get your shit together,
Get your shit
yeah.
together. I think
It's
a lot
fun.
of people, find themselves in that position.
Right.
And then they hear this calling, and that at that time,
It was
during that time, that was a calling.
It was get your shit together and do something for your country.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay.
Well, thank you for doing
Yeah,
that.
thank you, sir.
We say thank you for your service around here. It's
Yeah.
a program that we put on. Hopefully, we're going to be putting it on in the future, where we get to highlight veterans. And I'm glad that we get to highlight your story here.
Yes, absolutely. So when
Thank
you went into the reserves, you wanted to get your shit together. You also knew that you weren't living up to your full potential, which I love the introspective nature of that. I also know that it's not the easiest decision. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience? Is it something that you are okay talking about? You can stay as high level as you want.
I'm okay talking with about certain parts of it.
Sure.
It was good for me.
Yeah.
I got my SHIT together. But also it was learning about yourself, learning the potential, the capability. What's in my heart?
Yeah.
What can I do? And yeah, it was all good.
Yeah.
You did some pretty interesting stuff with the Army that you then took into your work. What exactly is your occupation?
So I'm in logistics, trucking, transportation, warehousing. I learned about it all in the Army,
Really?
which you would never think that would carry over, but it's provided my life's work
Yeah.
for me.
Sure. Which I think, you mentioned having kids. If you don't mind, can we shout out your kids?
I have a daughter, Ava. She's 7, almost, damn it, James is almost 7. Ava is 9, going to be turning 10.
Yeah.
You said 10,
So-
9 going on
Going
30.
on 30.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is so relatable.
Yeah.
Man.
But so your life's work, you know, the logistics part, livelihood, life's work, doing good things, keeping, you know, in good standings with friends and family, and especially the kiddos, which I know isn't always easy, but you've done a really good job, especially kind of going with the flow flexibility wise. When you left Quincy, what year was it? Do you remember?
I left Quincy after I graduated QU. I left in,
Oh,
that's right.
that's right. Go Hawks.
So I went
That was
06,
pretty
07. I left
serendipitous.
in June of 2008
Okay.
to move to Soulard.
All right. What a cool place
No
Soulard is.
kidding.
Yeah. Still doesn't really hold a candle to Quincy when it comes to like food, family, friends,
Well,
right?
well.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay, in our perspective, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a place I
Soulard's
like
pretty
to.
badass. Yeah.
It is. It's a place I like to go to
Soulard's
visit.
pretty cool. I will say though, Quincy does have some of the best restaurants that I've ever been around
Amen.
Which ones?
in my life.
What is the places that you have to come back to when you come to Quincy?
Made Right, the Abbey, Tower, Kelly's. I mean,
I feel like Made Right's always in that top 3
It's
for
in the upper
everyone.
echelon, sure, for sure.
The
Yeah.
I
list-
do see Kelly's and Abby always in those 3. I love
the
hearing
list
this.
goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so outside of good food, Quincy has become a place that you are drawn to, come back to, come home to. I will go ahead and say, and I don't want to speak for you, but do you still consider Quincy home?
Quincy is my home.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Quincy is a big, dark, black hole that draws you back
Yes, it is.
and sucks you in.
Yeah.
And
Reason for that?
it's home.
Yeah.
My parents, my best friends, JW, I love you.
I love you, John. Yeah.
But the second I leave town, I'm like, why am I leaving?
Yeah.
Why am I leaving? I don't know.
So why are you leaving?
Put me on the spot,
Yeah,
huh?
I guess. I don't know.
I wish I could stay here.
Yeah.
My kids are in St. Louis
Okay.
area.
So
Yeah.
proximity to your kids, that is
It's a pretty damn good reason.
No shit.
Yeah.
I wish a lot of people would have
Yeah.
take that into consideration.
That's what I mean. As far
sometimes.
as like going with, you know, going with the flow and being flexible, although you want to be in Quincy, you have responsibilities outside of here, but it is nice that you get to come home, and it's nice that you recognize that even though Quincy is kind of a black hole, because whether you've lived here your entire life, you've lived and come back, you've lived and you visit frequently, it does seem to draw people back in. So it's nice that you can have kind of that balance between, you know, responsibility versus where I want to be and how do I make that work.
Right. Well, and the reason I say black hole only is because Quincy's so far out of, like, off the beaten path.
Yeah.
We're like an island.
You know, you've got Central Illinois, Springfield, Bloomington, Peoria, St. Louis down here, and Quincy is just way off
Yeah.
Yeah,
to, you know, West Central
sure.
Illinois.
Yeah.
I like to call us on the
belly
belly button. The belly button of Illinois.
We're the innie or outie, depending on how much lint we're trapping at the time. Yeah.
Oh, no, I've never thought of it like that. That's a good call.
But so speaking of lint, we've had our fair share of, you know, things that maybe make us less attractive as a belly button, which I think that it's important to talk about
really good.
some of those, you know, not so pretty things, because we do have great food. We have great people. We have things that, you know, people, especially in the downtown area and beyond, are trying to do to beautify our city and make it somewhere where people want to come and stay, come and visit and leave. You know, we have people who are working really hard at that. We do have also some things that we could probably do better at. So being a guy who has grown up here, who has experienced everything we have to offer, but also has now been a part of the St. Louis area for so long, what would you say to anyone who was like, what, if any, advice do you have for Quincy? What would we bring here? What are we missing? What is something that you enjoy more about the St. Louis area than here, as far as activities, or I don't know what?
I don't know that I can answer that question faithfully. You've got the Christmas lights, the whole big spiel that they put on.
Just had another Christmas parade for the first time in forever.
Oh,
Super
right
cool.
on,
Yeah.
right on.
Way to go, Rotary After Dark.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that Quincy has to offer. I think sometimes Quincy tries to be too big for itself, and put on airs, so to speak. But I don't know. It's just Quincy.
Quincy's different for a reason.
I think also in regards to like Quincy being the black hole is your family and your friends.
It draws you back.
It
for
is,
sure.
right?
My family, sorry mom, sorry dad. My family is a black hole.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
Can't live without them.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're special.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and to be quite honest, I think that Quincy does a lot to facilitate that. So Quincy does create strong family values, whether that's through religion, through the tight-knit activities, through just being around all the time. I mean, I think Quincy does a really good job of facilitating a very strong bond.
Quincy has the most bars and churches per capita in the state of Illinois.
Which is probably what creates those tight-knit friend groups. Can you, and like you've been talking about your tight-knit friend group, we were talking a little bit in the green room about just reasons why you would, if you could move back to Quincy, why it would be here, and it was not just because of your folks, but this friend group. How did this friend group that you have came about?
So I'm from Quincy.
Yeah.
Originally. My dad worked in the automotive industry. So we ended up in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Moved back here. I met John in 6th grade.
John is JW, the shout out from before, John Winters.
John Winter, JW.
Yeah.
My dude. I met Sky Arcaro shortly after that. Troy Vogel shortly after I met Sky.
Hey, Coach.
They've been my dudes.
Yeah, and they became the family too.
Yes.
You know what? I didn't know your real name because of those dudes for like the longest time.
You just knew he was Bordy.
You were just Bordy. He was always Bordy. And then even like I said, so I came into Applebee's after he had just left, and I think there were like Bordyisms that we would talk about.
Okay.
There was like, I don't know if that's what that is, but like there was that,
Don't say the Bordyisms.
I won't, but I was like, who is this Bordy character?
I'm going to have to hear these after the cameras
Who's this
go off.
Bordy fella? And the fact that, the matter is, I know you think like you left, and at the time you left for your deployment, you never left. Everyone was always talking about you, in a good way,
I did not know this.
Yes, you were like the thing that like kind of, people talked about it. Applebee's was a good place to work. I mean, just like every restaurant, you can make it a family.
Yeah.
And that is what you did.
Sure.
You made that, I think Bordy kind of fathered this family a little bit from afar.
I did not know this.
Oh, absolutely. The way that people talked about you, it was just, I wanted to know who Bordy was, and I think, you may have been back a time or two. I think we went to a baseball game together, maybe with Sky. But like I learned who this Bordy character was, and I fell in love. I realized, you know, why these guys love you and why, you know, we had the Bordy board at Applebee's or whatever.
Very cool.
Well, don't tell anyone else.
I won't.
She's gonna have to tell me though when we hit stop. But I do want to talk about, okay, so when you left, obviously, you think about Quincy still as your home, but you did mention we don't want Quincy to get too big for our britches, basically, in essence. Is that right?
Well, I just think that Quincy tries sometimes to be bigger than it is.
Sure. And I don't want to hyper-focus on the lint that I was talking about, but I do want to talk about it because from an outsider's perspective who grew up here and left but still considers this home, one of the things that we talked about this year, one of the big kind of priorities for some leaders or some groups of Quincy is to grow our population. Yeah. And I do know that growing a population helps sustain, helps spread out the tax dollars, helps blah, 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 blah. But I also think it kind of maybe cuts into the integrity of the beauty that is Quincy. So when I was saying earlier about people coming in and leaving, that is more my goal, I think, for Quincy, which is where the sports complex comes in. Can you give me kind of your thoughts on the, I think your mic slipped.
Yep, that's what we need to do real quick.
Yep, so we're gonna pause on it. Slight technical difficulty, but we have to make sure we hear our guests. So we're back. We were talking about the sports complex. One of the reasons that I stand firm on this, even though I know that it's going to cost an assload of money, and however we split that cost up is, it's probably going to be controversial unless we can get a private entity to fund the entire thing. But I do think that it's important because it brings people in, but also doesn't quite, it's not going to negatively affect the integrity of what makes Quincy beautiful, which is us not getting too big for our britches. Do you agree with that, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think anything that brings people into Quincy is a good thing, especially for sports.
Yeah.
When I grew up, it was soccer and basketball.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're big into soccer, weren't
And
you?
that was it.
Yeah.
I played soccer growing up. If the ball had a point on it, football, it didn't matter.
Count me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Quincy sucked
They did.
at football for the longest time.
Did. Because have you seen recently?
I have seen.
You keep up on this?
And my dad likes to go to as many Notre Dame and high school games as he can.
Sure.
Because he grew up playing football. That's part of the reason why he can't walk
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
anymore.
Is that okay to talk about? Because I graduated with your sister, Jennifer.
Right.
And from a very young age, your parents were heavily involved in all the school activities from your grade and her grade.
My dad coached my T-ball team when I was a little boy. And he coached my soccer team all the way through. And he coached Jennifer's soccer team all the way through.
Yeah.
And they went to national tournaments. And they did well.
Yeah.
It was my dad and a couple of guys that he went to high school with that coached their daughters.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pass it on.
Mom, I'm sorry. Those were some badass bitches.
Yeah, that's what I like
They
to
were.
hear.
They were.
They were really good. Yeah.
They went to the Junior World Cup
Yeah.
in Minneapolis,
Oh, that's cool.
and they placed. I mean, they they did
They were good.
well.
Yeah.
And the high school, I think Jennifer's team got third place.
Don't get stuck under the table.
They got third place one year, I think, in the state. I mean, like, they were good.
They were good. Yeah. That whole team they were so good.
Well, and if there, okay, so it was girls from Notre Dame and the high school. If they would have all gone to the same school, I think they would have won 3 state championships.
Wow.
Yeah, hands down, for sure.
They were, I mean, they were
They were the Mecca, for sure.
bad.
I do think like investing in our sports community and stuff like that is what is going to possibly put Quincy on the map. Right now, we have an awesome little sports gal. I don't know if you've seen her. Since you follow Muddy River News, you said you follow Muddy River News or Quincy News. There's a gal. She's a sophomore this year. Her name's Chloe Nicholson.
Oh, yeah.
She could put.
Oh, basketball player.
Yes,
Yeah.
she could put
Yeah.
Quincy on the map. Not just her. We have tons of other athletes and
Well,
lots of other sports, but it's
Her
just the
aunt
investment.
was a year behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Lots of talent.
We call her little baby Caitlin Clark around here. But yeah, it is about investing maybe in your community. I think maybe looking outside the box. I know we're not looking outside the box. Like this is something that we're really looking into, and I do see it as a good forthcoming path for making Quincy not only be on the map, but maybe lightening things up for us as civilians. Provided, I mean, it's a long-term investment.
Yeah, it's not a short game here, but I think so. We were talking earlier about Quincy being great at facilitating families and those tight-knit bonds. Sports has always been in our blood as a community, so it also adheres to that. Like it helps lend to those family bonds where kind of everywhere else that you're looking, people are kind of growing apart, it seems. So this would be.
But when it comes to sports in Quincy, when you have the one or the team or whatever, people glom onto that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they're
I
like,
just did.
"That's my team. That's
yeah.
that's my girl. That's my dude."
Yeah.
It makes the player, the person, better.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Because
cultivates
they have the
some cool
support of the entire town.
Yeah, which we're really good at supporting. I mean, we definitely do
Yes.
cultivate some amazing talent. And I think we should capitalize on that. I think it would do great things. And I don't want to like harp on the sports complex. I'm not also trying to like, everybody needs to agree with it because everybody has their thoughts on it.
Where's
but
that going to be?
we don't know. So they just started, they're doing like
But didn't
RFQs.
they have one already?
So they had the K&L Arena, which I do want to talk about
Is
that a
that
little
a-
bit because
is that-
it was
is that-
primarily soccer.
Is that all? Wisman Lane?
It was out
Yeah.
Wisman.
But it was also a privately owned.
Which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think if we had one that, number one, I think it had to be marketed better. Number two, I think you have to do better at drawing clubs here to actually do. So my daughter's in club volleyball, and we travel all over Missouri, Iowa. Now we're into Indiana, and Quincy is so central that we could bring some of that here, but you have to have the marketing with it. You have to have the draw. You have to have the hotels. You have to have,
Yeah.
I mean, we have the restaurants, we have the churches, we have the bars, but you have to, you have to have people who are wanting to go out and attract these different groups, these clubs, these teams to come in, because that does ultimately mean heads and beds and butts and seats, and that is tourist dollars. And then if we're using money from the food and bev tax, that's going to tenfold give back to those restaurants who have been sacrificing these, whatever you call it, for however long, to put money back in their pockets.
Yeah.
Not only the business, but the servers and the people who are spending their money here daily, which from Applebee's.
Well,
it would bring people back.
Well, I used to bartend too.
Yeah. Good money, man.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from
I was about to
Brittany.
say, do you hold a card? I don't know. I think I might have learned.
You hold a card? What kind of card?
I don't know. Do you hold a card to my deck? Is that a thing?
What?
Are you? I don't know what
He just-
idiom that is, but
Are you?
are you trying to
I can't
say
even
that
say
you're
the
a better
word.
bartender?
They call me Britannica for nothing.
Okay. Hey, I think that I've never had a drink served by him. I have had one from you, and it's pretty rock solid. We may have to have a bartend off after this.
She's got a heavy hand. I
Yeah,
will
well,
say
Bordy,
that.
bartender, board off.
Yes.
Tip your bartend. That's Wizzy.
Yeah.
You remember
Oh,
Wizzy?
Yeah.
Wizzy and
really
Sky.
remember Wizzy.
Tip your bartender, Bordy.
Yes, I will. Yeah, I forever
Yeah.
remember. Wizzy was an old roommate of mine, but that's a different time for a different story. What I wanted to
Oh
touch on.
Let's go into that,
No.
please. Please.
We'll talk about that later. What I want to touch on is...
Okay, that's the second thing I need to hear about
Yeah,
when the camera
yeah,
stops.
yeah.
All right. I'm keeping tally
Yeah,
here,
I may
guys.
have accidentally left
Well,
him with a
open
dish
that up.
bill. But,
Bob, what do you think? Should we hear about Wizzy?
Absolutely.
oh, no. Wizzy was a... Okay, fine.
I love Wizzy.
Wizzy, Nick Wiskirkin, was a bartender at Applebee's, probably took into Bordy's footsteps, you know. Like, I think he had to fill his shoes. They were big shoes to fill because, yeah, there you go.
These shoes aren't that big.
Wizzy would have I think he like said all the Bordyisms. He took them from you, and you didn't know it, but he was taking your spice and your stuff. No, I was drawn to him. He was a good friend. And then I had, he was just a roommate. Like he was never
No involvement?
Wizzy was no
Wow.
love interest. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
Hey,
That
that's all
was
right.
rude.
I'm gonna zing him on that. But it was a
see
falling
her?
out, man.
Hey.
I'm not trying to bring up the Wiskirkin here.
All right, so I'll ding next subject.
But I want to ding to this. What brought him here? So what brought you here? And I think you might be our furthest traveling Club Muddy guest. So
Okay.
thank you for doing that. But what brought you here was what put you on the Muddy River map was the letter to the editor that we were referring
Yes.
to earlier. What made you compelled? You are, Quincy is home, but you're not a Quincy Inn anymore. So what made you compelled to write in to a local news source about, can't we all just get along?
It was shortly after the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Okay.
And I have seen it much prior to that situation, just people being downright filthy.
Yeah. Vile
each
to each
other.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Quincy.
Yeah.
I love Quincy. And just seeing people be so hateful
Yeah.
to each other,
Over things that aren't even in our control.
correct.
Yeah.
It hurts my heart. I have been guilty of it myself, saying hurtful things to other people or saying things that I didn't necessarily mean. And I wanted to stop all of that, not only for myself, but for everyone. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, what is it bringing to the table?
It is good, I think, to like voice that opinion every now and again, where you just like give them the pause. And for us as readers, and for I think us here at Muddy River News, it was nice hearing from somebody a little outside of Quincy, knowing that we still have
That was a nice pivot,
that
by the
reach.
way.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
good.
thank you. Not
good.
usually as good at those,
You're
but
good.
I do think that is what drew me to wanting to ask you to come here to say,
Well-
hey, what is it about Quincy?
I
That makes you feel
reached
so
out to you because I've known you
Yeah.
at least a little bit for
Yeah.
a long time, and I'm sorry to have cut you off.
No, you don't.
But yeah, I thought that you might be able to, help me get across what I wanted to say.
Which I hope we did, and I do hope that other people, like if they feel passionately enough, to write in letter to the editors, yours was very meaningful. I will say that. Like the fact, again, that somebody from the outside looked in and said, hey, you guys are the black hole. You should make this come together. If we can't make our tiny village happen, you know, with somewhat of peace, then where will there be peace?
Then there's no hope.
There's no hope for all of us.
But I will say that even though, and I mentioned it before, it seems like social media has brought out some of the worst in people, I think we also do a pretty good job of trying to highlight the best in people. And, you know, your letter to the editor was definitely, it fell in the latter category of we want to make sure that we are doing what we can to, I don't want to say help people get along, but maybe just highlight the importance of the pause, highlight the importance of community, highlight, you know, everybody thinks we're living in a dumpster fire because we're exposed to so much shit and we're not conditioned to take all that in. But if we do take the pause and realize how fortunate we are to have a place like Quincy and the people that we have in it, even if we don't always agree, we're doing pretty good.
Well, and you don't have to agree.
Yeah.
We don't have to agree with each other, but we don't have to be hateful to each other.
Yeah, I think that was the premise
Now,
of your letter.
Bob
Oh, snap.
put a disrespectful picture on my letter to the editor, but you did come back and make it right. So I thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think what he was trying to do at the time too was like apply it to what Quincy was. You know,
The image was basically the synopsis of what you were talking about.
Yes.
Like it was kind of like, this is what he's talking about. This picture is the epitome of the hatred that he is speaking against. And
no, I get it, but I said what I said.
Sure, absolutely.
And Bob, you made it right, and I appreciate that, sir.
We're kind of nice about that around our locally owned news source.
Yeah. Does Belleville have locally owned news source there? that you know?
No. They Belleville does not have anything like this.
Okay.
And I think this is something to be proud of.
Yeah. Oh, we're proud of it.
Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, I feel fortunate to be a part of it. I feel fortunate that people like you take the time to not only...
I didn't drive 2.5 hours
for
nothing.
That's what I mean. But even writing your letter, I mean, it shows that you not only care about our community, obviously, the people of this community, but the importance of sharing a message through a locally sourced news media, which I think is just, that's the cool stuff that, you know, we get to share in the personal experiences. I think it's just really cool.
Our reach is awesome.
I've talked to my folks about this site specifically.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were WGEM people for the
I think everybody was. WGEM, KHQA, because that's what it was. That's where you were.
Well, yeah, but we were WGEM people more than KHQA.
Okay.
But my mother specifically has said that this site delves more into the minutia of a story.
The Quincyisms, if you will.
Well, but just more detail.
So much more detail. You'll see a story happen and then a follow-up happen.
And maybe the dirty side of a story.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's, like you said, the follow-up.
Yeah.
It's not just, we're going to give you the story, we're going to give you the whole story.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, that's cool.
My mom, who I have the utmost respect for.
Valerie, shout out Valerie.
Val, call her Val.
Val, sorry Val.
No, call her Val when you see her. She'll hate it.
Oh. Sorry, Valerie.
This is a
No, call her Val.
Okay.
Please.
Well, now
Dear
she's
God,
gonna hate
call
it.
her Val.
All right, well, speaking of Valerie, though, that is her and what is your father's name?
Jerry.
Jerry, thank you both for bringing him here. That's what you came home for the holiday. What are your plans for the holiday?
I'm going to hopefully see my kids, have a good Christmas, and a sober New Year.
Nice.
There you go.
I love it.
That's your plan. That's
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, we stand behind you. We thank you so much for traveling to be a part of our club. Obviously, you're a part of Quincy forever.
Yes.
This is your home. You're always welcome here, obviously. But I think it's really important that we hear from people like you that not only have lived here but have moved away and have come back, and we see the importance that sometimes us Quincyans take for granted.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you, Brian Bordenkircher. We appreciate you. Happy holidays to you and the family. Cheers.
Bordy.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Bordy
Thank
board.
you, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And now I got to hear about
appreciate
these Bordyisms, or Bordisms, or whatever you called them, and the story about.
Well, he made me expose the wisdom.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
cheers.
Cheers.